Hello, it's your girl Dana Monet, and I am back again to recap The Voice Season 9 Top 10 Performance Week. Without any further ado, I'm just going to get right into it. The first performance of the night was Jeffrey, who is my favorite in the competition. He sang Jealous, not Nick Jonas' Jealous. It was a different Jealous. I didn't know it, but I still liked it. He did open the show, and I was like, why they put him in the first spot? But anyway, I really like his lower register. He always sings songs that I don't know, but he makes me like them. And he has a very commanding voice. He just pulls you in, you know. It sounded a little bit like he was breaking down, like in a good way, because the song was emotional, but it didn't happen all the way. But I kind of wish that he almost like started crying or something like that, because he has this emotional like undertone in his voice. It almost seems like he's about to break down, but he pulls it together. But I gave him an A-. Then there was Emily Ann, who sang She's Got You. Apparently Blake gave his whole team guitars. I did really like her dress. It was very sparkly, and she had sparkly cowgirl boots, which was very appropriate. To me, you know, she sounds good enough, but there's something shaky about her voice. It was a little bit of a boring song, but she doesn't have my favorite tone. She hits her notes, but her voice is a little bit thin, especially at the top. And I was looking on the blogs, and a lot of people actually feel the same way I do. It gets a little shrill up there, and her tone is just not the most pleasant, but she does hit all her notes. I gave her a B. Braden, he sang Radioactive. Welcome to the new age. No, let's, like, why would he sing this song? Like, why? Okay, seriously? Okay, but Gwen cut his hair. The song is played out. Like, I was introduced to this song on The Voice. I don't want to hear Braden singing it, though. Not enough of an exclamation point on this song. I hate it when they go and shake hands with the audience. His delivery is just really flat for a song that should have so much more punch. And I didn't like the arrangement. He had trouble holding his notes and staying in tune while holding the long notes. And he's just a little boy trying to be rock and roll, and it's just not working. So he gets a C-. It's just not working. It's just not. Next was Shelby, and she sang Go Rest High on That Mountain. To me, Shelby has a better voice than Emily Ann, and I always compare them two because I feel like Emily is going to outlast her because she's on Team Blake. But she has a better tone. She also had on a sparkly dress, and I did like her control, and she has good range. You know, she can hit the high notes, she has good low notes. I initially gave her an A-, but I downgraded her to a B+ because it wasn't as great, but it was pretty good. So that's Shelby. The next was Corinne, who sang Same Old Love, and I was kind of shocked that she was singing this song because it requires some sassiness, and I'm not really sure Corinne would be able to give that. Corinne is quirky and awkward, not sassy and sexy, so I wasn't sure. And then Gwen was trying to sing during rehearsals to help her, and yeah, no. I felt like she was kind of trying too hard, but she did sound good. Like, just listening to her, I was like, she did pretty good on that song. She had on this pantsuit. I thought it was a tad bit too big, but she's much more in tune than she was the previous week when she was singing her Twitter song, and I think that she did a decent job. So I gave her a B-. Actually, I would say I would give her a B. When it's just listening, I would give her a B. Next was Amy, who sang Bye Bye Bye, Don't Wanna Be a Fool for You. Back in sync moment. I had to take myself way back in the day. Another rearrangement, because that's what she's good for. At this point, it's almost like it doesn't matter what is thrown Amy's way. She could sing To the Windows, To the Wall, and rearrange it in this like jazzy kind of arrangement, and it would sound hot. Sounds good in rehearsal to me. It was an interesting arrangement. I felt like she was kind of slightly off the rhythm in the beginning, or I don't know if it was the arrangement, but she looked really cute, which she always does. But she always looks slightly bored on stage. She needs more swag. And the way that she sings and her vibe and her look, I feel like she should have more swag naturally. I didn't really actually like the arrangement. I listened to it again and I think I liked it a bit more upon second listen. I wish that there was some percussion in the background and I kind of wish that was gone and it was just like slow and smooth. And I thought her falsetto notes were off. It was a little bit boring, but I still like her. I still like her voice, and she does have the ability to captivate the audience with these rearrangements. I gave her a B minus. I may have upgraded that to a B, I'm not sure, but B minus, performance altogether seems more fitting. Next was Jordan, and he sang Hallelujah. Everybody sings this song, and it's supposed to be this big, religious moment. A lot of people on the blogs thinks that this song is religious or, inspirational or whatever they want to say just because it's called Hallelujah. And it's not. A lot of people on the blog said that that's not actually what the song is about. I read the lyrics. It's not really a religious song per se, but whatever. They're hyping up this song, and I was like, it better be perfect and live up to the hype. I do still like his voice. I just wish he wouldn't have sang this song, but it's kind of fitting for Jordan at some point to sing this song in the competition. I felt like he was kind of rushing through it a bit. Sometimes his voice can be a tad bit thin at the top, but he did do a falsetto run that was very nice. It was a little bit pitchy on the hallelujahs, but I've heard better versions of this song, honestly, but I think he did a good job. Blake had to say that Matthew Schuler, that Jordan did it better than Matthew Schuler from a couple seasons ago, and I beg to differ because Matthew Schuler tore it up, so no Blake. So I gave him a B. I think I upgraded it to a B plus because upon second listen, it kind of sounded nice, but it wasn't better than Matt Schuler. Sorry, Blake. No. Then Gwen was singing. I really liked her dress, and I think I actually like her song if somebody else sings it, and that's what somebody else said on blogs too. So, I mean, I love Gwen Stefani. Yes, this shit is bananas. BANANAS. Like, I liked her songs because they were like playful and she wasn't really singing like that. But Gwen can't sing. She doesn't even sing in tune. Like, she has like a weird voice, but it's not like in tune. Like, I can't get with Gwen, but her style is impeccable. Next was Zach, and he sang Crazy Little Thing Called Love, and it kind of sounded like he missed his cue at one point. He was like spinning around. He brought back those hip thrusts. It's like he only sings in tune on songs like this, where he gets to hip sway and pelvic thrusts or whatever the case may be. He wasn't, to me, when he went over to the guitarist and he was interacting with it like wasn't genuine. It was like forced. It was like, yeah, I gotta go. The staging people told me to go buy the guitar and like kind of rock out, and it didn't go over that well. The performance was questionable to me. I don't know why Blake is trying to turn him into Elvis. He did have some nice ad-libs at the end. I will give him that. It was a tad bit extra with the hip thrust, as I mentioned earlier. I think he's trying a little bit too hard, but it doesn't feel like it's 100%. But he sounded like he was out of breath and sweating at the end, so I don't know. I gave him a C+. Next was Maddie, and she sang Girls Just Wanna Have Fun. And it was the out of the box choice for her, but I did like the arrangement. Of course, it was slowed down because you could never see Maddie being like, girls, they wanna have fun. Oh, girls just wanna have fun. You could never see her like doing it like that. So it was smooth and right in her wheelhouse. She didn't have her normal hat on, which I liked. Her upper register and falsetto is pretty amazing. I really like it. Her vibrato is very prominent. I feel like maybe they could have just let her close the show instead of Barrett, because I feel like he always closes the show, but whatever. But I gave Maddie a B+. I really liked it. Some people didn't like the arrangement of Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Me, personally, it's like I liked it, but I feel like and I was able to actually really listen to the lyrics because it was slowed down. However, playing devil's advocate, I think that because the song is called Girls Just Want to Have Fun, I think that for the most part, it probably should be sang in like an up-tempo, like fun kind of vibe where you kind of jumping around and having a good time, So I think it probably should be sang in that realm. And Joey Cook from last season of Idol sang Girls Just Want to Have Fun on Idol, and she did it the exact way that Cyndi Lauper did it, which was totally out of the box for her because she's known for rearranging stuff. So she should have took a page out of Maddie's book and rearranged it, but she didn't. So it really depends. If you did a good job on it like she did, then I'm not mad at you that you rearranged it. For Barrett, again, like I said before, this is the second time Barrett has closed the show during the live shows, and he was last in one of the blind audition episodes. So I don't know why he keeps on getting. He's closed the show more than Jordan. So I don't understand this. He did sound pretty good. I had to get him that. Just the acoustic arrangements are really good for him because he can't move around and act all cheesy. And it was like a sexy, like, country song. I don't think I ever heard a sexy country song. It was like their version of, I guess, Knocking Boots type of song or whatever. And still a tad bit extra with the facial expressions. But he did hit all his notes. He just doesn't do anything interesting all the time, but he was miles better than he was last week. I did give him a B. Probably if I wasn't being biased, maybe he deserved a B+, but he's still rather bland for me. So B, and I'm going to stick with that. So that was all of the top 10. So before even the results show aired, my bottom two prediction as far as will be in the bottom two was Corinne and Brayden. And I predicted who should be in the bottom two was Zach and Brayden. So my will be Corinne and Brayden was correct. Only I predicted Brayden to go home. And of course, Corinne went home. And I kind of thought that because this was her third week in the bottom two with the Twitter save. But I thought that she had probably her best performance in the lives with the Same Old Love. So it was kind of a disappointment. And I actually didn't watch their Twitter save performances. Shame on me. But I did actually Twitter save to vote for Corinne. But I was live blogging at the time on MJS Big Blog. And a lot of people were saying, oh, Corinne forgot the lyrics. Like, she messed up. And I was like, oh, she's gone. And then she performed first. So production obviously wanted her gone there. It's like, it can't be a three-peat. You can't be saved 3 times in a row. So we're going to keep this little 15-year-old Brayden, who Gwen is still trying to turn into a rock star. Over it. Done. So now this was interesting in reference to the iTunes voting. So at the close of voting on Tuesday at noon, there were seven contestants that were in the top 10. So 7 contestants got the multiplier. And that played out in terms of who was in the bottom, because all of the 7 contestants were called safe first. And then it was Zach, Corinne, and Brayden, who, before I even saw the iTunes predictions, I predicted that it would be between those 3 in the bottom. So, of course, Zach continues to escape the bottom. I don't know why. This is the second time that he's been like in the bottom 3 and he still escapes the bottom. I don't get it. But just to clarify and just to give you an idea of where everybody was standing on iTunes at the close of voting, Jordan was number 2 with Hallelujah. Barrett was number 3 with I'd Just Love to Lay You Down. Maddie was number 4 with Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Emily Ann was number 5 with She's Got You. Jeffrey was number 7 with Jealous. Amy was number 9 with Bye Bye Bye. And Shelby was number 10 at Go Rest High on That Mountain. Now, Zach was in the top 20. He was number 20 with Crazy Little Thing Called Love. And Corinne was number 29 with Same Old Love. And Brayden did not crack the top 100. So that should have been even more reason that he should have been eliminated. But he was not, unfortunately. So, it's like, what can you do? So I think that's a really big feat. I think that's the first time this has ever happened, that 7 contestants were in the top 10 of iTunes and got the multiplier. And it's ironic because to me, this is kind of one of the weaker seasons of The Voice. Maybe it's just not good music out here yet. If The Voice is flooding the top 10, this is the top 10 like overall 100 charts. This is not, top 10 for The Voice on iTunes or top 7 for The Voice on iTunes. This is just period. Like Jordan was right behind Adele's Hello on iTunes. So, I mean, that's great for The Voice, but how does the rest of the music industry feel because, they can't stay in the top 10 on iTunes? But whatever. I do, want to reiterate the fact that next week is going to be the big chop. So the top 9 is going to perform, and then 5, repeat 5, are going to be getting cut. So it's going to be kind of rough. Again, I don't like this idea. I think that they should have just stuck with the format of eliminating 2 people per week. I thought that was perfectly fine way to do things. And then 1 person in top 5 week, and then it's the finale. But they have to do this, eliminate 1 contestant per week, and then do this big chop. I think that's kind of stupid. But given this is a season where the talent pool is kind of minimal, I'm not really mad at it, just as long as my favorites make it. And just to clarify, Jeffrey has to be in the finale. So he cannot get cut in this big chop. He absolutely cannot get cut in this big chop. So if it was up to me, the top 4 would be Jeffrey, Amy, Maddie, and Jordan. There would be no people, no country people in the top 4. However, that is not going to happen. So if any country person makes it or squeezes into the top 4, then I'll pick Shelby. Not Emily and nobody from Team Blake, but Emily